Need a ride? Cruel seas have been sailors for generations. In truth, I regret not following in the footsteps of my ancestors. If I make enough money from the farm, I must have a long ship to sail the rivers of Skyrim. You come here where you're not wanted. Eat our food, you pollute our city with your stink, and you refuse to help the Stormcloaks.
We haven't taken a side because it's not our fight.
Hey, maybe the reason these Greyskins don't help in the war is because they're Imperial spies.
Imperial spies? You can't be serious.
Maybe we'll pay you a visit tonight. We got ways of finding out what you really are.
Do you hate the Dark Elves? Are you here to bully us and tell us to leave? You've come to the wrong city, then. Windhelm's a haven of prejudice and narrow thinking, unworthy of one such as you. Nothing new there. Most of the Nords living in Windhelm don't care much for us, but Rolf is the worst by far. He likes to get drunk and walk around the Greywater yelling insults at us in the small hours of the morning. Oh, a real charmer, that one.
You a dark elf lover? Get out of our city, you filthy piece of trash.
Some of these Nords will come up with any excuse to despise us. And it isn't just the Dark Elves they hate. They make a target of the Argonians as well. In fact, just about anyone who isn't a Nord is fair game for their bullying.
Don't like it? Too bad. This is our city. Ours! Don't think I can take you? 100 septums say I can punch you back where you came from. That wasn't a fair swing. Wouldn't surprise me. They've done nothing to help in the fight for Skyrim's freedom. Those Thalmor elves, too. I bet they're working together. Maybe I should round up some men and take us a few prisoners to interrogate. They're parasites. They're living in our city under our protection. But what do they do for us? Nothing. I know the High King invited them here, but he didn't ask me or anyone else first. Maybe he should have.
Farm work is hard work. It's good to relax when I can, but I still have to listen to my brothers harping about injustices.
Did you see the candle above the fire upstairs? It was lit 163 years ago, back when this building was the home of a grand warrior named Windhelm. When word came that he'd fallen, his son Durot lit the candle in his honor. Nobody knows why it still burns.
Name's Nils. I'm the cook up at Campart Hall. I'm cutting wood. I pretend there's an Imperial soldier's head on the stump.
My sister and I both work for the Nords. Our brother is ashamed of us, but at least we can afford to eat.
I made my fortune as a sea captain, but now I'm retired. The townsfolk call me captain because I used to be a sailor.
I'm a sailor on the North Wind. We're laying over in Windhelm for a while.
If you're looking to pass the time, you can give Calixto a few septims and gawk at whatever oddity he's come across lately.
Welcome to the House of Curiosity. This is Ysgramor's soup spoon. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is no spoon, it's a fork. Nobody can eat soup with a fork. Well, my friend, you did not know Ysgramor.
There's an author named Ardonato staying at the inn. He's published a few works of historical fiction.
I'm a writer by trade. Not that the people of Skyrim do much reading.
The clans Shattershield and Cruelsea see most of the gold that passes through the city. And obviously you have Ulfric, the Jarl and future High King.
Only the foolish or the courageous approach a Jarl without summons. Do I know you?
Oh, and that busybody Viola Giordano. She's got her nose in everyone's business, which I guess is one way of being prominent.
The milk drinkers in this town wouldn't last 5 minutes in a real battle. I'd be out there fighting the Imperials right now if it wasn't for my war wound. Ever since that Imperial Craven ran me through from behind, I've had trouble breathing.
It's good to spend some time on solid land.
Not too proud to admit that I need a bit of help from time to time.
Well, nothing. At least not anymore. Folk just call me that because of what I used to do. I was a sailor for many a year. I made my coin as a trader, and in time, I bought my own ship. When I retired here in Windhelm, most folk already knew me as Captain Lonelygale, and the name just stuck.
Buying and selling a wide range of assorted goods, the best selection in Windhelm. It was difficult at first. The lords of this city are at best suspicious of outsiders. But in time, I made the right friends and proved myself useful enough that they don't give me trouble anymore. The Dark Elves are too proud and naive to understand the way things truly are, and so they continue to dwell in that slum.
Wherever I can find it. If you're the type who worries over where something came from, you may want to move on.
There's an old saying that only a Nord can work the soil in Skyrim. I don't think anyone else would have the patience for it. It takes half a day just to dig a planting row in the cold, stony earth here. But what else can we do? Eat rocks and ice?
Everyone says Jorl and Greymane is the best smith in Skyrim. I plan to change it.
Working in Windhelm is great. I get to see Ulfric up close. I never expected Ulfric to live up to his legend, but he does. Every Nord should admire Ulfric. He fights for all of us.
I fight for the men I've held in my arms, dying on foreign soil. I fight for their wives and children whose names I heard whispered in their last breath. I fight for we few who did come home, only to find our country full of strangers wearing familiar faces. I fight for my people, impoverished to pay the debts of an empire too weak to rule them, yet brands them criminals for wanting to rule themselves. I fight so that all the fighting I've already done hasn't been for nothing. I fight because I must.
In fact, he's the reason I chose to learn the smithing trade. I want to make weapons and armor for the Great Stormcloak army.
Hermir's become a decent smith. Like to think I had a hand in that.
Smithing isn't the most exciting thing for me, but we all have to lend a hand as best we can. If a Stormcloak uses one of my swords to strike down an Imperial soldier, then I've done my part to free our land.
The way I see it, Ulfric's fighting a holy war. I don't see these troubles as business. This is a labor of honor. To bring Ulfric his rightful glory, I would hammer 1,000 shields. Short bows. I might just have to.
I've been a bit out of sorts since our daughter was taken from us.
Good to see you.
Not really sure what to do with myself anymore. I just miss her so much.
Oh, delicious and affordable.
I'd appreciate it if you don't bother my wife, Tova. She's still in mourning. Our little girl died recently. I've been shouldering my days with strong need, but nothing gives my Tova peace. I've been looking for an amulet of Arcade to remind my wife that our child is with the gods now, but I can't find one.
No mother should have to bury her daughter.
I hope Arcade grants my wife some comfort. Thank you. Here, I always pay my debts.
Well, my job's simple enough. The dead don't really complain much. Luckily, Windhelm is cold, so the dead don't rot as quickly. Sometimes the burial has to
Battle
wait
toward
for
your
the ground
after.
to thaw.
Candlehearth Hall's got both.
It's not that simple.
Ulfric wants Skyrim for the Nords. He doesn't trust what he calls outsiders.
Captain Kiar
You've
expects the
seen how
best,
we
but
live.
he's a fair
Cramped
man. He
alleys,
never
run-down
fails to reward
buildings,
hard
few
work
guard
and loyalty.
patrols. Even the name Grey Quarter is an insult.
I'll speak to Ulfric soon, but I make no promises that I can change his mind.
That's all I ask. With your help, we have a chance to make a better life for ourselves here. For that, I thank you.
There's no glory in war. It's just something they tell soldiers so they'll risk their lives. You one of those Skyrim for the Nords types? Good. Too many Nords in this town have been listening to Ulfric's narrow-minded words. He's tough, loyal to his men, and a good leader. But if you're not a Nord, Ulfric will never trust you. Whenever a group of marauders attack a Nord village, Ulfric is the first to sound the horn and send the men. But a group of Dark Elf refugees gets ambushed, a group of Argonians or a Khajiit caravan, no troops, no investigation, nothing. There's a group of cutthroats out there right now that Ulfric doesn't lift a finger to bring to justice, as long as they don't threaten Nord land.
How splendid. Another Nord. Where else would we be? When the Red Mountain burned, you could scarcely breathe in Morrowind. So we came west. Windhelm was the first city on that road. And here we are. If we had known the Nords would be so unwelcoming, we may have kept walking. Well, you see where we have to live. This forgotten alley. All the filth from the upper quarters flows downhill, what they say. Good luck getting one of the guards to help with anything. I tried to get Ulfric to even come down here to see the squalor, but the High Lord of his mightiness couldn't find the time.
Help the Dark Elves? Oh, you must have heard me talking to Malfir. The Dark Elves live in a run-down slum called the Grey Quarter. Ulfric's content to keep it that way. I guess they think I can open Ulfric's eyes to their plight, and get him to lift a finger on their behalf. I'm trying, but Ulfric is set in his ways. For him, there's two kinds of people in this world. Nords, and the folk beneath them.
None of that matters to me. Until someone takes a Dunmer, I'll let Windhelm deal with its own problems.
I thought the Grey Quarter would be a haven for my kind. I was wrong.
I killed a lot of High Elves in the Great War, and I didn't die. I guess that makes me a war hero. The Great War. There was nothing great about it. Thousands died on both sides. And where did it get us? Did we really save the Empire? Or did we just plant the seeds for Ulfric's uprising? And another war.
Horses. All day long. Do you have any idea how dull horses are?
Looking for shipping? We always offer better service than the East Empire Company.
Yes.
Windhelm is divided into 4 quarters. The Grey Quarter is the one that's home to all the city's Dark Elves. If it looks to you like an impoverished slum, that's because it is. Ulfric prefers that we live in squalor. He has nothing but disdain for anyone who isn't a Nord. He tolerates us, but that's the extent of his hospitality. Not a day goes by that I don't think about returning to the ancestral home of my people. Still, even with the rough treatment we've had at the hands of Ulfric and his lot, we've got ties here. It's probably more trouble to pack up and leave than it is to stay. Besides, Amberus can't run the corner club on his own.
All my goods are legitimate, which is more than I can say for some. Of course nothing in here is stolen. Only a careless, shameful, idiotic fetcher would do something as stupid as to buy pilfered goods.
The Grey Quarter is not much to look at now, but it wasn't always so bad.
Another day, another sector.
The young folks are too happy to break their backs for the Nords. They forget what it was like to swim free. The Nords don't appreciate us. So what? I don't appreciate them right back.
Never much cared for Windhelm. The place is depressing. I'm a lot happier out here on the deck than I am wandering around in that ruined city.
Look, we don't have much love for your kind down here. Probably best if you just left.